Hello there, my brother, my sister. Welcome back to the Morning Mindset. I hope you are ready to get your mind aligned with the truth of God for this day. Today's subject is a glad heart. And it's something I know we can hear that phrase and feel a little envious of it in some ways, because we definitely feel like we don't have a glad heart at the moment. But I think today we're going to find in these verses some truth that's going to help us understand what it means to have a glad heart, the benefits of a glad heart, and how we can have a glad heart. Let's look at Proverbs chapter 15. We're going to look at two verses that are similarly themed, verses 13 and 15. Verse 13 says, "A glad heart makes a cheerful face, but by sorrow of heart the spirit is crushed." Verse 15 says, "All the days of the afflicted are evil, but the cheerful of heart has a continual feast." Now I want to start by looking at verse 15, because there's a principle here that we all need to understand, and it's really pretty obvious when you hear it spoken, but it's something we don't often think about. It says, "All the days of the afflicted are evil, but the cheerful of heart has a continual feast." Now, we may have a tendency to think that he's contrasting two opposite things, that some people are afflicted, but other people are given cheerful hearts. But I think what he's doing here is he's pointed out that this evil that he's referring to comes upon all of us, because that's just the reality of life, isn't it? All the days of the afflicted are evil. We all are afflicted from time to time in our lives. It might be with a sickness, with the loss of a job, with the loss of a loved one, with things that are hurtful or damaging to us in an interpersonal sort of a way. There are all kinds of afflictions that come into our lives, and it can create evil effects in the lives that we live. And then he contrasts that reality with this statement: "A cheerful heart has a continual feast." So what he's saying there is that your attitude of heart, your determined orientation when it comes to how you choose to feel about the afflictions that you experience, is what's going to determine whether you have an afflicted evil sort of an experience or a continual feast, as he describes it here. That just means an ongoing opportunity to live in joy and abundance because you know the Lord is with you. You see, this glad heart, this cheerful heart, is in many ways a choice. Now, I understand that a sorrowful heart, like is mentioned in verse 13, is a reality of life as well. There are circumstances that come that bring sorrow. So I'm not saying we should all just be kind of happy-go-lucky people all the time. There's definitely a time when sorrow is appropriate and grief is appropriate. And those things, if left unchecked, if they're allowed to just continue on and on and on, will crush our spirit, as verse 13 says. But I think what Solomon is getting at here is that our heart condition is really our decision. And it's not that we are ignoring difficulties that come into our lives, but it's that we are choosing to put our focus somewhere else. We're choosing to look at who God is and the reality that the King of the universe has called us to be his own. We look at the realities of the extent he has gone to redeem us, to draw us into his family through the death of his son, and that he has then gone over and above that act of love by giving us the righteousness of his son, so that when he looks on us, he sees the righteousness of his son and imputes that righteousness to us. He credits it to us. Beyond that, he gives us his Holy Spirit to dwell within us so that the presence of his Son can be with us and empower us and help us in these difficult, afflicted times of life that we have to go through. You see, friends, when we put our focus on the one who is able to give us a glad heart and look at all the things he has done and is doing in our lives, we can see, like the Apostle Paul, that our momentary light afflictions are producing for us a weight of eternal glory far beyond comparison. Jesus, this concept is hard to embrace, and it's hard to grasp at first, and we need your help. We need you to show us how it is that by the power of your Holy Spirit, we can orient our hearts toward being cheerful through the acknowledgement and the recognition of all you are for us and all you've done for us, Lord. Teach us what that looks like. Teach us how to implement it step by step so that the afflictions of life do not become so much that they crush us. Enable us, Lord, to stand in your grace in this way so that we, like the Apostle Paul, can view our lives as ones full of your eternal glory.